Hi, it's Derek. Welcome back to Hitchcocks, where today we'd like to welcome another motorcycle into the Hitchcocks stable, and it's this, the Royal Enfield Guerrilla 450, which represents yet another departure for Royal Enfield, who continue to challenge the boundaries of convention. Some people have said, is it a Hunter on steroids? Is it a Himalayan in another coat? It was actually designed and developed alongside the Himalayan, and although it shares the same 450 engine, it's a completely different animal. It's a roadster, it's got a bit of a growl, but we think it's got impeccable manners, and also it's got great composure on the road. So today we thought we'd grab the opportunity to take you through some of the points on the bike, but before that I think it's really important to mention that within this group there are some real major competitors. Those include the Triumph 400 series, the KTM 390, and a new contender, the CF Moto. The first two, the Triumph and the KTM, are built in India. The CF Moto is Chinese, and hence it is built in China. So what makes this one different to all the rest? Why don't we take a look? I think the first thing to say about the bike is it's got big bike looks. Now, when this arrived the other day, we had another bike in a different colour, exactly the same bike, but it looked completely different. So there are 5 colour treatments on these bikes, and each one completely changes the look of the bike again. And whether you want an aggressive looking bike or a fairly moderate looking bike, you know, conservative bike, you've got the choice there with this range. The other big thing to say about it is A2 compliant, so a lot of people are going to be interested in purchasing this bike, but more importantly, it is a sub £5,000 bike, which hits the market exactly where it needs to be in such a competitive environment. The curb weight on this is 184 kilograms, which is 12 kilograms lighter than the Himalayan. However, it is a heavier bike in its class. So is that a disadvantage? If you look at the Triumphs and the KTMs, they're fairly high revving and they get on the power at the higher revs. The CF Moto is very similar. So what's different about this? Well, it's a single cylinder, it's got 40 brake horse, and what I like about it is that the power band is very linear. It comes in right at the bottom and it goes all the way through till you hit national speed limits. So the fact that it's heavier isn't a detraction from the performance that it delivers. The other thing is the seat. I said about it being a nice bike for A2 for people new to biking, but the seat height is 780 millimeters. If you look at that against the Himalayan at 825, that is a considerable drop. Now, if you're shorter in the leg like I am, that's a real benefit. So the weight, although it's slightly heavier, is very low down. Once the bike rolls, you don't feel the weight. And you've got the added reassurance that the seat is lower, so you can plant 2 feet very firmly on the floor. So those are some real big plus points to straight off the bat with this bike. It's got an 11-litre tank, unlike the Himalayan that's got a 17-litre tank. However, this bike will do somewhere in the region of 200 miles on a tank full. It's got a double overhead cam engine, and it's got a 6-speed gearbox. If you couple that together with the eco or the performance modes on there, you can be quite frugal with the fuel on this. And because it's got this modern 452cc Sherpa engine, the power delivery is very linear. So although it's slightly heavier in its class, 12k lighter than the Himalayan, obviously, it doesn't detract from its performance. And again, we've ridden this from urban riding right the way through to national speed limit. The power delivery is constant. It is a very smooth delivery right the way through the power band. So that's a little insight into the engine and the gearbox. Let's take a look at some other factors with the bike. Let's pick up on a couple of the differences between the two bikes, between this, the Himalayan, this, the 450 Guerrilla. The wheelbases are different. This has a shorter wheelbase. It's 1440 millimeters. This one is 1510 millimeters. The other significant difference is if you look at the ground clearance, this is 169 millimeters. This one is 230 millimeters. Obviously, it's an adventure bike, so it's going to be higher. There is another difference, however. On the Himalayan, we've got the Showa upside down forks. On this, they're standard forks, but they've got the rubber gaiters on, and they give a slightly softer ride, which you would expect on this. You've also got the monoshock at the back, which has various preload settings on it. So you've got a slightly different configuration to what you would see on the Himalayan. A nice little touch with this bike is it's got the rubber mounted foot pegs. So even though it's a new engine, even though the power delivery is linear, if there is any vibration in any part of that travel, then those help to eliminate that for the rider. And they also obviously add to the comfort of it. It also has one other thing, it's got a bespoke subframe on this bike, so the two subframes do differ. But apart from that, what this is a completely new bike, completely different to what they've done before. I'm really excited about it. I think the whole range of the bikes, the colours, all give you different bikes, although it's still on the same chassis with the same engine. So I think it's going to be a real winner. As I said, it's got the A2 license, it's got the height, especially for me, and I think that's going to really impact into its segment in the market. The other obvious difference as well is that the Himalayan has got spoke wheels, which gives you the option on this particular model as well to have either tubeless or tubed. On this particular bike, they're aluminium and they are tubeless. The difference on the Himi is it's 21 inch on the front, 17 on the rear. With this, it's now 17 inch both wheels. That also adds to the way that it rides anyway. I find that it's quite a nippy bike. It falls in really well into the corners, and I think that all adds to the smoothness and power delivery on this bike. So all in all, I think we've got ourselves a winner there. I think another key point to make is all of the screens on the Royal Enfield, the latest model bikes now, are superb. From the entry-level models, they have the analog screen, and we go right up to the premium end where you get the TFT screen. And again, I said about the dynamics of the bike and the power delivery, that's all well and good, but you've got to know where you're going or even where you are. So these bikes do come with various options depending on which model you buy, which gives you the ability to navigate. The outstanding part of it is the screens are absolutely superb. Day or night, you've got a really good clear vision on these bikes. But remember, all of that's really good, but if your phone goes down, you want somewhere to charge it. And all of these bikes now come with a C-type USB connector, so you can charge your phone on the go, obviously safety aware. And one other point, and I was only aware of this the other day when I followed one of the bikes, is at the back now you've got an integrated brake light with the indicators, which is superb because you've got the orange indicator, but when you brake, you've then got the red stop light that comes on through the whole lot. That's very different, and you can really see the bike when you're riding down the road because there's a distinct two red lights as it's traveling, which will turn orange, obviously, when you use the indicators. But for me, it's a very distinctive look to this bike, unusual as well when you follow one. So that's something to look out for. So just to summarise and recap, I think we've got ourselves a fabulous bike here. Looking at it, when you see it in the flesh, the fit and finish is absolutely superb. It's got us all excited here when these arrived. Everybody came out the office and out of the workshop just to come and have a look at them. So they have really got a buzz about them. The link's in the description. Keep your eye on it because we are going to be having a whole host of accessories for this bike. They're in development. We're off and running. Can't wait. So just leaves me to say, keep watching. See you next time.